So there's been no blog for the last few days, well the last 6 days actually, a fact that I'm not really very happy about, but there's a bit of a reason for me. I would describe the last week or so I've been quite tired, and not tired to the point I haven't done anything, because I've actually done a lot of things. I've danced FOHO till 6 o'clock in the morning, I've read books, I've chatted to Seamus, the other volunteer here, I've worked at the project, so I've been doing lots of things, but I've been quite tired mentally in connection to doing my work, to get my thoughts on paper. Every time I've tried to get some of the stuff in my head down onto paper, it hasn't quite come out in the way I want to, and frustration has set in, and I just thought, no, I don't want to do it, I just want to have a break. So even though I felt I should have been blogging and telling you about, for instance, why I'm tired, I just haven't had the energy to do it and to express it in the right way. On my flight back from Cristino, I was reading a book by Ed Chambers. He's the CEO of the IAF, which is a radical American organisation that works with the people from a grassroots level to make practical changes to their lives. So one instance is they secured in the 80s 500 jobs for black workless men and women to work for Kodak, who at the time in the local area only employed white people. Ed Chambers talks about the difference between people's public life and people's private life. He says there's no such thing as being a personal life, because everything is personal. Why I choose to be a youth worker, why he chooses to be a community organiser, is personal, because it's based on your own values, your own drivers, and you want to do well at it. If you want to do well at it, you're going to take it personally. He talked about public and private. The public life is where you're out in the world representing and being the person in a so-called professional capacity. It's where you act considering what are the consequences, how will this fit in, what impact am I having here. The private life is, well, it is, as it says, it's private life. It's about the relationships between you, your closest friends, not necessarily you've got dirty secrets, but things that you wouldn't want to share. You obviously don't share your intimate relationship with your partner to the whole world. Well, most people don't, with a few notable exceptions there. So he talked about public and private. He says work is all about relationships, it's all about connections between people. And I think that was one thing that I really noticed coming from Cristino and returning to Rio. In Cristino, the boundaries, the lines between public and private were really blurred for me, because I was always living with the project coordinators. Every time I went out into Cristino, I was always meeting people, young people from the community, and the attitudes to Kissing Story, the story about me and Alex, and me going out, what I thought was to go out dancing and having a few drinks with people more my own age, turned out that there was numerous young people there I knew. So I could never fully switch off in terms of thinking I've got a responsibility here to act in a certain way. Whereas since I've come back to Rio, there's more of a distinction between public and private. The public is when I'm down at the project, it's working with young people, it's working with the monitors. Now, there is elements of living in the convent that are public life. I'm from England. There are certain things that I'm not going to do, I'm not going to misbehave in certain ways. It's just not, I wouldn't really do it anyway, but I'm definitely not going to do it here. But in Rio, I've been able to separate a bit more, like mentally in my head, when am I working, when am I not working, and what experiences for me here are purely fun for me to do. And it's just easier for me to have that break between between the different works, and understand actually where do I fit. Cristino didn't have the structure to be like, well, this is the work. I couldn't say I am doing this work, whereas in Rio I can say I'm doing this work and I can describe it to you. And that's the real difference for me here, that I've just been able to relax, kick back, and just take a few days while still been working, still been interacting, still learning Portuguese, and my brain still thinking about all these different ways that my experience is shaping some of my own thoughts. But I've been able to do it in a space where I can just have a bit more self-autonomy and make choices because I've got options. So that's why I haven't been blogging. That's about a bit about public and private life that I wanted to share with you, and I will be definitely blogging a lot more soon. Cheers.